Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar talking about navigating the future with Azure RTOS, or should we say ThreadX, transitioning it to the Eclipse Foundation, obviously. I am Georgie Ryan Casling. I am the Partnership Manager and the Head of Marketing for Witekio. Hi. Lots of you will know me from these webinars or from seeing me at events, but if you don't, welcome. It's so lovely to have you here. Today, we actually are doing a pre-recorded webinar. However, we're still doing a live Q&A at the end. So get answering your questions, whether you're on YouTube, on X, not on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on StreamYard, where we're streaming this, and we will answer your questions at the very end. So same rules apply. We've just made it a bit easier for ourselves by recording the actual content for you, which means also that you can have access to it at the very end. So yes, so let's get started. So what are we going to talk about today? So the agenda is as follows. We're going to be talking all about Azure RTOS and the transition to ThreadX under the Eclipse Foundation, how to maintain and support this new RTOS on ThreadX, and what to do if you want to migrate. We're going to talk about our kind of top tips, how Witekio can help you, as well as our speaker talking more in depth about ThreadX versus Zephyr, which I won't give too much away. We, Witekio, are part of the Eclipse Foundation, so we support the Eclipse Foundation and ThreadX, but we also understand, as part of AVNet and also as our own company, that's been in embedded and IoT for 20 years, some people are a bit concerned about the move to ThreadX and what it means for them, so we thought this would be a really handy topic for us to cover, exactly what it means, the benefits, and what we can do to help. Before we get started, just a little bit about Witekio. If you've not met us before, I don't know how you couldn't have, but if you haven't, we've been, as I said, in 21 years in the embedded and IoT software services industry. We've got 5 offices in 4 countries. So in France, where our headquarters is, in Bristol, Seattle, Stuttgart, in Germany, over 180 Witekians across the world. And we're partners with some of the biggest names in tech. So, we're here to help. We have an extensive track record across a host of industries, from vending machines to home appliances, heavy duty machines. Medical devices is a big one for us, especially at the moment, talking more about the CRA and everything that means, which I know that Pierre is going to go into. So just go to witekio.com and look at our case studies, and you can see more about all the amazing stuff that we've done. Our skill set today, we're talking all about RTOS and about obviously kind of OSs and low level, but we do cover everything from, workshops, low level BSP drivers, firmwares, all the way up to your middleware, to your GUIs, to your sexy touchscreens, working with Qt and others such as Flutter, to cloud connectivity and beyond. So please don't think that we are just a one-trick pony, because we do everything from chip to cloud. So that's enough from me. The pitch is over, I swear, and I'm going to hand you over to our amazing solutions manager, Pierre. Pierre, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Thank you, Georgie. Amazing presentation of Witekio. So I'm Pierre Lecomte. I've been working in Witekio for about 7 years. I've started as an embedded developer, so mostly on MCU, and I've moved to project management, and today I'm solution manager. So what does it mean? It means that I'm trying to find best solutions for our customer needs and requirements. So I will take all your requirements, whatever you need, and I will try to find what you need as project management, what you need as technical solution. So yes, that's what I do. Okay, so let's talk about our main subject of today, and is the transition of Azure RTOS ThreadX to the open source community. First, I will try to get you a small brief about what was Azure RTOS, what was its place in the market, and I will try then to move to what will be its place in the market. So this is really the first part of the presentation. So Azure RTOS is a general purpose RTOS, so you can do a lot of things with this RTOS, and it targets main purpose products. So if you are in the market for something really certified, for something with strong requirements in real time and things like that, maybe it's not the best, but is one that can deal with all your requirements. So ThreadX Azure RTOS was in the same link as FreeRTOS or MBOS. And to be honest, this is one of the most reliable RTOS in this league. So you can find a lot of things with FreeRTOS and BOS, and everything that are done by these different RTOS is done also by ThreadX, and ThreadX, we'll see it afterwards. It adds a lot of different features to this RTOS. Moreover, Azure RTOS ThreadX is in the market for a long time with a good reputation and is already integrated in a lot of different products. There is a new competitor, is quite new in the market. Now it has been like 8 years old, but we can start to see it. It's Zephyr. Zephyr is close to ThreadX, but is quite different also. Is something more focused on platformization, and it supports today a lot of boards, and the organization of code is done in layers like Yocto for Linux, for example. Azure RTOS was a RTOS owned by Microsoft and was only maintained by Microsoft, and today it's changing because now it's open source. We'll see what it means. And Azure RTOS is well known by the industry. It has been always the case and is really used in the industry. A lot of different customers that we see every day are using Azure RTOS ThreadX. But if you try to find some content on internet, you might have more issue to find some content because the community is smaller. It's something really professional, and you find not a lot of things in the open source community. So what does it mean, this transition? And first, it means that they wanted to combine the best of the open source community and the best of what is already in Azure RTOS. So what are the main strengths of Azure RTOS today is that you can use it only for the kernel, so take only the scheduler and the real-time capacities, but you can also integrate a lot of different libraries. And these libraries that are integrated in Azure RTOS are kind of a specific thing for ThreadX. You will not find it in other RTOS, not always. You can find some libraries that try to do the same thing, but the ones in Azure RTOS are really on top of the market. For these libraries, we talk about NetX Duo, ModuleX, USBX, and FileX, for example. A lot of different libraries. For example, NetX Duo helps you to manage your networking on your products. ModuleX is like a containerization solution for Azure RTOS. USBX is the one that helps you manage all the USB capacities of your products, and FileX the file system. ThreadX is also another library, but is not something that you include per se in your products, but helps you analyze the execution. So Azure RTOS is really RTOS with libraries, helps you accelerate the development of your products with nice libraries, and libraries that helps you to debug and to monitor your products. There's also memory management, and the hardware requirements, like for a lot of RTOS, is quite low. So the minimum would be 1 kilobyte of RAM and 2 kilobytes of memory. It's also a certified RTOS, so you can use it for medical and even for class C medical, for example. So, and there's a lot of support coming with RTOS, and it's something that is well known in the supplier community. So lots of different suppliers already support it. And what are the main strengths of the open source community? And what we could say that maybe it's something that was not in Azure RTOS ThreadX for now, is if you want some functionalities that are not included in the libraries provided by Microsoft, it's maybe you have to redo all the time the development on your own, and the open source community can bring different new functionalities that are not the one that everyone expects, but the one that a few can expect, and a lot of different functionalities can be developed by this open source community. We can have support of new boards because yes, Azure RTOS supports already a lot of MCUs, so M0, M4, M3, M7, M33. a lot, but not all the different boards. And we'll see in the comparison between Zephyr and Azure RTOS, this is where Azure RTOS can improve, and maybe even open source community will help Azure RTOS ThreadX to improve. Also, to improve bug support and security fixes, to be honest, it was already something that is well done, but we'll see that security support, mostly for maintenance, is something not easy. And this is something that maybe the open source community will help Azure RTOS to improve. So today, it's what you told us at the beginning, Georgie, is that we can offer two options. I have today, I would recommend to stay with ThreadX because I think it's still an amazing RTOS, and I think the future of ThreadX is bright. There's no doubt about that. The main strength will remain the main strength of Azure RTOS. We can only bring new strength to this RTOS from our point of view. So first of all, we will talk about maintenance about ThreadX, and this is my go-to for now. But if you want to migrate, we will give you some feedback on what will be our solution, our choice for migration if you want to migrate. So maintenance and support solution for ThreadX. First of all, so what is difficult for maintenance? So platformization is becoming more and more important. So it means that a lot of time we want to use RTOS in a lot of different projects. In the past, or maybe not for everyone, but mostly in the past, I saw a lot of different RTOS that was designed only for one board and for one project. Today, we want to have our RTOS that is running on a lot of different boards and a lot of different projects. And more we have this complexity, more and more the maintenance is difficult. So how we can deal with that? Second point is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity Resilience Act is something that we need to take into account to make sure that we are up to the standard in cybersecurity. Otherwise, it will not be good for your products and for your finance, I would say. But with ThreadX becoming open source, a company selling products using ThreadX means that they are responsible to make sure the security is up to the standards. It's something that is important about open source software that you include. It's your job to make sure that you are up to the standard with these open source softwares. Second point, you need to monitor security. You need to apply fixes when you can, and this is something that we'll discuss about. Third point is that complexity of software is growing. We want to add more and more pathos, more and more functionalities, and we need more and more robust tests, tools, and processes to make sure that the system is up to the standard. So first of all, for maintenance and support, you need to review and update your infrastructure. So today, in order to handle all the complexity that I presented to you, you need to have something that is automatically built, and you have automatic reports generated for your product. Otherwise, it starts to become really difficult. Imagine if you have 5 different products to test, 4 different boards to test. I don't know, but if you have to do that for every delivery, it's a lot of time in testing that you will have to take. So to build all the things. So if you have something automatic, it will help you manage this complexity, and it will help you to get feedback really quickly, because otherwise you need to wait for the end of the test, and it's always manual, and the end of a build also. So it's always manual, it takes time. Solve security issues on your product. So we're talking about CVEs, and CVEs are things that appear on your product sometimes every day, and you need to monitor them. You need to make sure that your project is not vulnerable. So CVEs is something that you need to detect and to correct as soon as possible. You need to test your product also, because the added complexity in the number of functionalities that you want to have in your project could mean sometimes more bugs, and every time you develop a new feature, you don't want regression. So this is something that you can not prevent only doing more tests, but you can detect easily doing more tests. And you need a dedicated team also to monitor your product, because you need to proactively monitor the updates of the libraries OS on your for your system, and you need to update them. You need to have advice to improve the maintainability of your products, because you need to quickly correct any blocking bugs and apply security fixes. So for me, it's the 4 points that can help you maintain and support your product. So about security. So today CVEs is something not easy to monitor on the MCU market, I would say. It's something easy, I would say, on Linux, or we are used to do on Linux. It's something a bit more difficult on an MCU, because most of the time it's a black box and the track record is not good. So it means that even if you gain knowledge on your system, you will find that the security issues that are registered in the NIST are not always good or up to date for the MCU. It's also another point, it's difficult to generate a software bill of material. A software bill of material is kind of not the image of your firmware, but it tells you all the information of the different software pieces that you have in your firmware. And this is something important to know: what are the software included and what are the vulnerabilities that you have in your software. So what we could do, first of all, we can minimize the code. A lot of time, what we've seen in the MCU development is that lots of different libraries, a lot of different functionalities are included, and maybe only 10%, 15% of them are really used. And to do so, it means that you add a lot of different software pieces, so maybe a lot of different vulnerabilities at the same time. And if you do that, of course, if you minimize the code, you can reduce the size of your code, and it would be good also, but you will minimize the number of vulnerabilities that you can have on your product. Second point is that you can also monitor existing CVEs and apply patches. I said that maybe it's not the best today for MCU, but you can definitely find some vulnerabilities for different software parts for ThreadX, for example. If you have a look to NetX Duo or USBX, for example, in the NIST database, you can find some vulnerabilities about them. So first of all, take care of that and apply the patches. Second point is that due to the fact that it's not the best track record about CVEs, what you can do is to apply full code static analysis on your codes. And doing so, you can get all the different smells that you have on the product. So the one about security, and you can try already to correct them. If you do that, you can also, it's not CVEs that are in the NIST database, but you can also reduce the vulnerabilities that you will see on your products. Sanitization of inputs is the next one, is to make sure that when you try to get some information, check this information, check that this is the correct format, that this is the correct number of information, and there is no buffer overflow or other things like that. Also, you can verify and improve your build to avoid security breaches. So, for example, when you apply some options to your build, you can have some information about buffer overflow. So take this option, put them in your build, and then you will have more information about your securities. And also, if you need so, and that one is maybe the last one that is a bit more difficult, because for me, security by design is a thing and should be really applied. So, but you can try to think about the security mechanisms to add to your existing architecture. So flash encryption, secure boot that we discuss, that we can discuss about, but there are a lot more. And but I would recommend to go for security by design, of course. So at the beginning of your project, but it's still doable and it's still better to apply them at the end, but not apply them at all. So I would like to focus on tests, on the tests that you need to run. So that one is a diagram of tests workflow for software update, for example. So over here. So if you need to do a software update on your project, what I would recommend is to do it automatically, because it will help you maintain your project in a really good way. And this is really the feature that we don't want to break it during any delivery. It's really the feature that should work all the time, because if you have a product on the field that could not be updated at some point, it's something that costs a lot of money and is really annoying. So first of all is a workflow that we use on some developments, on some projects, to be able to test the software updates. So first of all, we try to generate two firmwares. We publish the two firmwares on our testing tool, and we trigger the automatic test. So the automatic test will run and will update one firmware on the cloud device management tool. And it will trigger the update on the cloud device management tool. So what does it mean? It means that the cloud has now the firmware that the project will try to update to, and the project will have the information from the device management tool that an update is needed to this new firmware that has just been generated. At the beginning, I don't know if you remember, but we have generated two firmwares. So the first one has been uploaded. The second one will be flashed on your device under test, your MCU. So we flash the new firmware. So there are tools, we have them in Witekio to be able to flash, deploy a firmware directly on your MCU from our testing tool. So we do that. So your MCU is now running the firmware that we want to try the updates to the new firmware. We power on the MCU, and then we get all the we wait, of course, for the initialization, and we wait for the notification that an update is needed. We accept it, and then we verify and install the new firmware. There are lots of different cases. We try to do the normal case, so we do the update till the end, but we can try to power off the project in the middle. We can try to remove the Wi-Fi connection or other things if it's another thing to your MCU. We have a lot of different cases, and it will help you test your software updates in a correct way and have a lot of information about your software updates and be sure that it will work on the field. We have other example of tests. So we can have Modbus, CAN, all the serial communication, to be honest, that should be tested also with an automatic test. It's help to make sure that your software will be running all the time. And we can do it also, and we recommend to do it with BLE, with Wi-Fi, for example, with Wi-Fi. You can test all the different frequencies, 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and all the different channels. You can try with different passwords, with different security mechanisms, and you do it automatically. So it means that you have like 50 different cases maybe at the end, and it takes you, you can run it during the night. It takes you no time for you, and you have a lot of feedbacks about, yes, your software is up to the standard. If you try to do it manually, maybe only the Wi-Fi will take you all day. So what would we recommend to start the maintenance on your project, because we talk about what you should do, but how you can organize that, because it's not something always easy to understand how we can kick off everything. So first of all, we would try to get more understanding about your system. It's important to understand what are the different things that needs to improve, be reorganized on your project to really kick off this maintenance. We need to understand how we can deal with your project for testing, for example. Most of the time, it's not easy if you don't have a CLI, how we can get all the informations, all the logs to, for example, to get feedbacks about things that are running. So it's really important to understand how we can test, how we can launch the CI/CD also, for example, what are the toolchain that you use. A lot of different things are important and should be analyzed during 1 or 3 weeks to make sure that we have a plan to start the maintenance. Then what we are starting is really to put the security and the maintenance of the project. So with the CI/CD, with the monitoring about CVEs, security, and all the testing tools. So depending on the project, sometimes for small projects, it can take 4 weeks. On bigger projects, with a lot of different functionalities, with a lot of different boards that needs to be run, it can take a lot more time, till 16 weeks. And then you have your ongoing maintenance with everything, daily reports about the CVEs, daily reports about the testing. So you know about your project, you know what is the status exactly, what you need to improve after time. And yes, if you are doing updates, you have everything to make sure that your project is up to the standard for cybersecurity, for your functionalities. Everything is okay. So we discussed about how to maintain ThreadX. I told you that for me it's the go-to. Try to maintain the ThreadX is still the solution. But if you want to migrate, here is what we think. So what RTOS should we choose to migrate to? So today, we think that ThreadX or MBOS are not better than Azure RTOS and doesn't have a lot of more community or yes, people that take care of this RTOS. So we think that it doesn't make sense from our point of view to move from Azure RTOS ThreadX to ThreadX or MBOS. The one that we would recommend is Zephyr. Zephyr is the best option from our point of view because it has all the benefits of the open source community. And today, Zephyr is really the RTOS that is kind of modern. We'll see what it means, modern, and that has a lot of maintenance from the open source community. Zephyr is really the RTOS for platformization. It has been designed in layers to enable platformization on your different products, and that you can take some functionalities and put them only on the products that you want, and remove the others from your projects, and support a lot of different ports. It's still a young RTOS because it's less than 10 years, but the support helps a lot. Because you have a lot of supports over internet. The documentation is top of the line, and this is a really good RTOS, I think. And today, this is the most followed RTOS on the open source community. If you are used to Linux, I would not say that Zephyr is close to Linux because the way you will develop with Zephyr is different than Linux. But you will find some things that you know in Linux, for example, kconfig or DTS files. So as I said, Zephyr is still a young RTOS. This is really reliable. We use it in different projects, and it's already a good RTOS that you can use on your project, and you can be that is really reliable. Azure is maybe has more experience and is kind of more reliable because we have more experience about it. So I would say that Azure is still more reliable than Zephyr, but Zephyr is already a good, really good RTOS. One point that due to its age, only less than 10 years, the architecture of Zephyr is changing a lot, and it changed a lot. Maybe it will not change anymore, but you can still have some breaking change between some version, and in Azure RTOS it doesn't apply any, doesn't happen anymore. Zephyr has a lot of libraries because there is the open source community. So it means that a lot of people are developing for Zephyr, and with Zephyr you will find a lot of different things that are really good, and a lot of different good, yes, libraries, but some that are maybe a bit less good. Azure RTOS have less libraries, but the one that you will find in Azure RTOS are unmatched from my point of view, because USBX, for example, Modulix, are really things that are embedded in ThreadX and really reliable and really good. And alternative will exist in Zephyr, but will not be as good in terms of quality. Zephyr, also the difference with Zephyr and Azure RTOS is that Azure RTOS, as I said before, you can use only the kernel to get the scheduler and the real-time capacities of ThreadX. Zephyr, it's a bit more difficult. You have the whole structure, you will take it, you will embed it, and so the requirements to have Zephyr running on your boards is most of the time higher than Azure RTOS. Zephyr documentation, I said it before, but is really, really top of the line, is really good. And if you need information, if you want to start on RTOS, Zephyr is the one that has the best documentation from a point of view today. Zephyr activity is higher and a lot. So if you have a look to the GitHub of Zephyr and the GitHub of ThreadX, you will find a lot more activities on Zephyr because you have the whole source open source community. Zephyr supports a lot of different boards. I don't remember, but in 2019, I would say that Zephyr supported 50, maybe less than 100 boards. Today, it's more than 500. So in a small amount of time, it's really impressive from a point of view. And today, it's the RTOS that supports the most boards, and it's still not maybe the youngest, because I don't know all the RTOS, but is one of the youngest, and it's really impressive. And Zephyr works on security monitoring. So, and the progress of the open source community on this matter is really good and really visible. So we say that for MCU, get CVs is not something easy, but for Zephyr, they might solve the issue in the future. There are still some difficulties. Zephyr most of the time is doing forks of the libraries that they want to include in their software. So with these forks, we lose kind of the links with original libraries. So it means that this has to be solved. This is not the only point, but this has to be solved to get a correct CV monitoring on the software. So get the vulnerabilities from the initial software and not from the fork. The architecture, so if you want to migrate, because this is really our point, if you want to migrate, there are a lot of challenges, not easy one to be honest. And the first point is maybe most difficult one. And this is something that we already experienced in Witekio, because we wanted to have a project where we could develop some piece of software for MCU that are really agnostic of RTOS. So we wanted to support like FreeRTOS, like Zephyr, like ThreadX, MBOS also, I think. And we wanted to have this piece of software running on all the different RTOS. And the one that was the most challenging was Zephyr. Not because Zephyr is not well organized, but Zephyr is totally differently organized than the others. So it means that MBOS, FreeRTOS, and ThreadX are kind of the same. So you will find some differences, but the organization of the RTOS is really really similar, to be honest. And Zephyr is really different. And with this organization and layer and the organization to enable platformization also. So it's something that that is mostly the main pain point is that if you want to reuse the code, you might need to architecture it in another way. So to do re-architecture implementation of your software. Some libraries could not be easily found on Zephyr. So USBX and Modulix, if you are using them, I know that USBX is something not so easy to do on Zephyr. You will not find easily some libraries. You might need to redevelop them. And other than that, the performance should remain the same. So you should not be afraid about that from a point of view. Should be with the MCU that we have today. If you have modern MCUs, I would say that you should not expect a lot of differences. Last point, the migration should be meaningful. So it means that if you are with one product, with one board, and you don't want platformization, I would say that Zephyr is maybe not the best. The best if you want to migrate, stay with ThreadX because you will not have any benefits from Zephyr today, I would say. Okay, so what it will need to enable this migration? So it's kind of the same topics than we have with the maintenance, to be honest. So automatic test is always something that you should have on your product. And again, it's an important point of the migration. Second point is the CI/CD. So we discussed about it also in the maintenance, and it's again an important point of the migration. The architecture workshops also we discuss about it during the maintenance, but this time it's a bit different because we want to analyze how we can really reuse the code, what are the architecture that we need to put in place for Zephyr, because as I just said before, the architecture is really different, the implementation is really different. So it means that you need to understand what you want to do before the migration, otherwise it will be kind of messy, I would say. And then you need to do the development, of course. Optional, so for me, it's something really important to do. And I put it optional because maybe you can start without it, but you will need to consider it anyway. It's the security of your system with cybersecurity workshops, with maintenance, with follow-up of CV. So you are starting a new project, this migration project. Try to have security by design. Try to think about maintenance. Try to think about how you will monitor your CVs, because when you organize your project correctly, so I mean in the organization of your Git, for example, with Git submodules, or the organization, how you integrate the different layers of your code. This is important to get a good software bill of material that will help you gather the best CVs. The best CVs. I would not say a CV good, but the good a good level of information for about your vulnerabilities on your products. And optional, I would recommend it to have a proof of concept. If you have a lot of different layers that are needed, a lot of different needs in platformization, a proof of concept would be something nuts. I would say worth it to start with. So what you can have in terms of timeline for your migration. So first of all, like with maintenance, we'll start with a workshop to make sure that everything is clear. And then we'll set up the CI/CD. At the same time, we will create all the automatic tests. So for the automatic test, one thing that I did not mention is that you need to have automatic tests that gives the same result from your previous project and on your new project. So it means that you need to have them running on your ThreadX environment, test them, make sure that you have 100% of good results and a good coverage, and try to apply them again on your new project migrated with Zephyr, and you should have at the end the same results. So it's important to do it that way to make sure that you have exactly the same features at the end and the same results. If you create only the tests for your new project and you don't take care of the old one, you can have some differences that you don't want to have at the end.
That is it. Okay. Thank you so much, Pierre. And now I'm going to hand it over to us live, the live versions of us, to ask if anyone has any questions. Oh my goodness, that was so smooth. No one saw anything. We're just live and we're wearing the same clothes. Are we, Pierre? Did we do that?
Not exactly. But
Oh, well, we really should have.
But it's close.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Hi, thank you for watching. Thank you again, Pierre, for your amazing in-depth review of everything that's going on. I think everybody found it very useful. We have had a couple of questions, but we're here if you want to ask some more questions. So please get them in on the chat. First one that we received via email is talking about the security implications. That was easy for me to say. Talking about how the transition to Eclipse Foundation will impact the security model of Azure RTOS. Like, are there any changes in security features that we should expect?
It's something that we covered a bit during the webinar. It's not something easy, as I discussed, to monitor correctly the CVs on the MCU platform. It's the same for all MCU platform, but we can see that today Zephyr is doing a big move and is going to progress, and it's due to the open source community, due to the fact that we'll have a better software bill of material. We can have CPs that are correctly handled in the NIST database, as a good track record and a good track record on the NIST database too. And this is something that can be improved with the open source community. So there's a good thing, I think, on security level for CVs, but I don't know. I just try to follow the model of Zephyr, and I think it can follow the same path, and I hope it will follow the same path. We have a lot of different things that we discussed during this webinar to still cover this security part, to make sure that there is no breach in the system, and an attacker cannot go inside of a product. But yes, this is what I can say today.
Yeah, fair enough. My favorite part of the webinar is when you start talking about good CVEs, and then you soon go like, no, there are no such thing as a good CV. Yeah, I think every engineer that I spoke to must have like a favorite CVE. Like
I'm not sure.
Like a favorite flavor of crisps, right? Okay, we have another question here, which I'm going to put on the screen. This one's on LinkedIn, so I can do it and make it all snazzy.
Yes.
So Bertrand asks, does Azure RTOS have a safe code stuff against return-oriented programming?
I can talk only by experience about that, but in our different development with ThreadX Azure RTOS, all the time we try to check the attack surface and to make sure that there is no breach on our system, and we always consider that there's a possibility that the stack might be corrupted, and that another program can be run on the system. So I would say that Azure RTOS doesn't have this kind of stuff natively. I know that Modulix is a containerization solution of Azure RTOS and helps a lot to protect again problem with memory, for example. So there is protection for memory. So things can be done about security in Azure RTOS, but on this return-oriented programming, over time we consider that it was possible with Azure RTOS. So I would say that no, not really. But if you want to have a clear answer about that, maybe we need a security expert from Witekio to discuss exactly about how we can secure that directly with Azure RTOS. But I would say anyway, we should consider the whole attack surface and make sure that there's no breach and there's no bug inside our code to allow this.
So what I'm hearing is we need a webinar part 2.
Maybe.
That's what I'll always say, guys. Okay, another question we've had in is talking about how would the transition affect like current users of RTOS. So someone's saying they're a current user of Azure RTOS, now ThreadX, and how is it going to change in terms of licensing, accessibility, support, etc.?
Yes, it's something that we discussed a bit previously. So licensing before, I think Azure RTOS was free of charge. You could use it and without no issue on your platform, it will remain the same. The biggest impact that I see today on your platform is for cybersecurity. We're only talking about cybersecurity on the question, but it's fine. It's what I say is that if you include an open source software on your device, and this open source software has an issue on the security side, it's your job to make sure that there's no issue at the end. So before you could say that it was an issue with Microsoft, and you could try to get support from Microsoft, but today it will be a bit more difficult. With open source, you will get a support from people like us to help you to maintain your device. But otherwise, it's your job to deal with this kind of situation.
So what I'm hearing is use Witekio.
Yes, of course. You should use Witekio all the time.
More webinars and use Witekio. That's what I hear, guys. That's what I'll take. Are there any other questions? I don't think so. If not, then we can head it out a little bit early and save everyone 10 minutes of their day. So again, Pierre, thank you so much for spending so much time creating this content and for really kind of giving your expertise towards it. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Georgie, and thank you all for following this webinar.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, everybody watching, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.